From playing home games on a field with no bleachers in Ho'olehua, Molokai, to playing in front of 60,000 screaming fans in Manhattan, Kansas. Vai Uso Seomalu is the first ever Molokai farmer to receive a scholarship to play football at a school in one of the top 5 conferences in the country. He played 8-on-8 football in Maui County for only 1 year, but he got the attention of scouts across the US. After 2 years at Garden City Community College in Kansas, Uso is suiting up this fall for the Kansas State Wildcats of the Big 12.
My name is Vai Seomalu. I'm a junior heading into Kansas State University, and I play football. I kept asking my parents to play football. They never wanted me to play because they were scared I'd get hurt. It's kind of discouraging because, you know, all my friends played, and I was probably the biggest kid that never played. I really wanted to try.
Uso's a great story. I mean, just a great kid, humble kid. I'm actually a middle school teacher, so I saw him in 7th and 8th grade at the middle school. And he was big back then, and I saw how light he was on his feet, how athletic he was, and I knew he'd be a great football player. But for whatever reason, he didn't play football those first 2 years in high school.
When he asked to play football, from 9th grade, we said no. 10th grade, he tried again, the coaches came, we said no. And so on and so forth. And then his senior year, he asked, can I please play football this year? And his father and I thought, well, what's it gonna hurt? It's his last year.
And then finally that 4th year as a senior, you know, through some encouragement, he got the okay, he came out and was an impact player right from the start, as we knew he would be on both sides, on offensive line and defensive line.
Taking it down the sideline.
That's what I really wanted to play football. When I was little, we'd play. Everybody would come out, go to the parks. It was a blast. Play football all the time. Barefoot, running on the grass, tackling.
My name is Nicole Helm Kahale. I'm a teacher here at the Molokai Middle School. I'm married to the coach. When I was teaching, some of the students had asked, why don't we have football on Molokai? And it kind of piqued my curiosity. And I'm like, I really don't know why, because we hadn't had football for like over 50 years. So I kind of went around and talked to some people. One of the guys that I talked to was my father, Larry Helm. He was a former football player back in the late 50s and early 60s. And he had said that there had been multiple attempts to try to get football here back on island, and they failed. We didn't have the support of the high school initially, probably because there was some reluctancy. People have tried to bring it back before, and you know, they're like, okay, well, you go prove it first, and then that's kind of how we did it and got the community involved.
And right about the same time, St. Anthony, who had stopped their 11-man program, was thinking about restarting. Seabury, who had never had a program at that time, was thinking about starting something. So we kind of just jumped in the mix and started an 8-man league. It was just the 3 of us that started that 1 year. And the commitment was that it would be a 3-year plan. The first 2 years we'd have to operate as a club. We weren't connected to the high school. We had to get facility use permits to use the field, had to get all our own equipment. We started those first 2 years and played a few games, and then the 3rd year the MIL sanctioned us. Funny story is that we had no money at all to start. So St. Anthony had a program before, so they lent us a whole bunch of equipment, helmets, shoulder pads, even jerseys, and they were like gold and blue. And so when we had our first game that year, we tried to dye their gold jerseys green, and it turned out to be this really bad, like diarrhea green looking thing, but it was really bad. But the kids were like, they were so excited. It was so awesome. Even though we had horrible looking helmets and uniforms, they were just excited to play. And once we saw that first game, we knew like, hey, we have something here. We have something to build on. And just from that point, we got community support, sought donors, some different people, raised some money, did a lot of fundraising, and just kind of went from that point on.
Now we have home and away uniforms, we have a scoreboard, goal post. All this stuff wasn't here. It seems like each year we're adding more to the program, to the facilities, but also it's a tribute to Mike and his coaching staff and his wife. It's a tribute to them, to getting the kids that come out. For an 8-man football team to have 40 to 50 kids, sometimes more than 50, when we start in July is a tribute to them and what the kids want to be part of here on Molokai.
Being able to play football here was probably the best thing I've been allowed to do from my parents.
That was our first year that we actually went out and played some 11-man games. So we got to go to Honolulu and play Nanakuli and to Maui to play Kamehameha Maui. So it was an opportune year for him to get additional exposure. So that worked out really well. So at the end of his senior year, he put together a highlight film with Huddle, a Huddle highlight film, and then he got some looks. He went to a couple of camps, some showcases. I think he won like MVP of the defense for some senior game that he went to on Oahu. And then had couple looks from some other JUCOs. Then I reached out to Doris Sullivan, and she's kind of a big name in Hawaii in terms of football connections. And she got the family in touch with Garden City some way, somehow. They offered him, and he ended up in Kansas, of all places.
The Kansas State coach that recruited me there, Coach Mike Tuiasosopo, started looking at me while I was still here. Throughout my whole junior college career, he just kept checking on me. I really was glad I went the junior college route because it really helped develop me into a better player in my position. And for like the town in general, it was kind of similar. It was bigger than here, but it was still small. So everybody was close, everybody was supportive. That town loved football.
Watching him play this game, you can see in his eyes, you can see in the way he plays the passion that he has for it.
I finally got to go up there and do a little workout with them to see how I could move physically and stuff.
One more. Set.
They offered me once I was there, right after that. I wouldn't say it was a sure decision because I had a couple other offers that I could have chose from, being UNLV, Jackson State. I had Akron and University of Incarnate Word. I felt like Kansas State stood out to me the most. Their team is built on like a family bond, so everything is teamwork and coaches there. I feel like they'll be some of the best that have helped me develop into a player that wants to go to the NFL.
It's huge for our program. It brings credibility to our program, to our coaches, you know, to the things that we're trying to build here. It lets the other high schoolers and all the kids in our community, lets them know that, hey, dreams can come true. I mean, you can be a small town kid from a small island and go play big time football.
Well, I never thought I'd be where I'm at now. It's kind of amazing, to be honest, from this to where I'm going to now. Just growing up here was it was small, everybody's close, you know. I love it here. There's a lot of support. I come home, being such a small island, everybody knows what's going on already. Everywhere you go, everybody's just saying, good job, congratulations on what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. And it's a lot of the stuff like that that makes me wanna represent where I'm from even more. It's an honor, blessing. Being able to represent here, it's a lot that I have to do to make sure I can put my best foot forward to represent where I'm from. And I believe I can do that. I hope I can, and I hope I do, but I believe I can. And it's for sure an honor.